Well, hello YouTube. So, this right here is a bead lock. It's installed. It's all ready to go. Oh, now, these axial bead locks, they are plastic. And I'm not recommending you have to go with axial. They're just in my hobby store for, well, for $20, so, per box. So I figured, why not? They look really good on the Jeep. They really do. Now I've got just the front ones on. I still haven't gotten the other tires because, well, my hobby store is about, let's see, about an hour away from my house. Yeah, they just look really cool on the Jeep. Like when you look at it and you turn the wheel, and it's just like, wow. Let me show you guys the Jeep this way. Oh, look, a giant Jeep. Haha. Yes, wow. This camera is just amazing. Look at how well it picks that up. It's like, wow. Okay, so that's just a little closer in-depth look at the bead locks, and yeah, you get obviously your bag of parts and everything, but I think I went over that in my other video. But I kind of had a tip on soldering. Now, some people have no clue what to do, and that's fine, because not everyone is born knowing how to solder, and not everyone learns how to solder at a young age, you know. I learned how to solder when I was like about 15. I know there's nothing here, it's just a voice coming out of nowhere. Alright, so what I like to do is see this rock. Now my soldering iron, I have the Xtronic one. It's the one that goes up to 896 degrees. I had one that went up to 1,000 degrees once, but it was a cheap model, so it was like, well, no wonder it didn't last. Now sometimes these things do stink when they're warming up because you might have burnt on material. So this is what the soldering iron goes into after you've made your solder point, or if you've made multiple solder points. This particular one is what's known as a soldering station. So these wires that I'm going to show you are just for example, because what I'm about to show you is not something you ever want to do for your electrical stuff on an RC, and that especially with batteries, because if you do what I'm about to do, you will blow up a battery. Alright, so first off, what you want to do is take your fingers and just twist the wires together. These, especially if it's braided wires, you always twist them. If it's housing wire, because that's what you have and that's what you're gonna make do with, there's no need to twist them because it's just a single strand of copper. Now you see what I mean when I say don't put these two wires together. So first thing you're gonna want to do is I adjust the camera here and get it looking down at you guys, or get it looking down at, well, the stand I made is not holding up the best. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Leave it like that. Alright, and zoom the camera in. So your soldering station, I'm going to move that off to the side, so it's off camera, but it is directly in front of me. Alright, you guys should be able to see that pretty good. So we're gonna take our solder. Now I've got a coil of solder like this. I'm gonna zoom out for a sec. Oh, look at that. Okay, now this right here. Now let me see if I can find that. Ah, there's the label. This is flux. So what you want to do with the flux is take these two leads and dip them right in the flux, just like that. And the flux that I have is kind of it's a paste flux. So I think it's really meant to be used on like pipes and stuff. Because apparently you can. I did not know you could solder pipes until I was at my hardware store looking for solder. So yeah, that's what this one looks like. You can get some that are like green and other colors, but I don't really think it matters as which color you get, but I could be wrong on that. So what you want to do when you're heating up your soldering iron is you want to take the tip of it and rub it on this stuff just to get some of the leftover metals that you may have used on it, or if you used it to carve your name in a piece of wood because you're bored or something. Not saying I've ever done that. And then you see it becomes shiny, and that is a brass wire. Yeah, brass wire in that. Now they make all kinds of soldering stations with brass and other materials in them, and so let's zoom right in. Okay. Alright, when this video is done, I want you guys to comment down below what you thought of it. Now what I'm doing right now is called tinning the wire. Now there's quite a bit of excess solder on this wire. But for demonstration purposes, that is fine. But see how this red wire comes out more? That's typically how you want to do it when you tin it. So once we get it all heated up, we take this right here and we just set it aside and until you need it again. So what we're going to do is grab our pair of pliers. Oh look, a big arm. Alright, and once we grab our pliers, you're going to hold one of the wires. It doesn't matter which one. It doesn't always have to be this wire. It doesn't always have to be that wire. Here, and then you guys can see that. Yeah. Okay, good. So what we're going to want to do is just, with the tip of our soldering iron, get them just mend it together like that. Now usually, so once you have them together like that, what you can do is, see how that's a big gob of solder on it? You can hold them up like this, and then the solder will want to run down the wires, and it may come undone, and that's okay, because it's just because it comes undone doesn't mean it was a bad solder. All that means is that it just heated up again, like you just saw. Now, remember, all solders are not created equal. You have some that heat up at they require a heat of 800 degrees to heat up, and some that require a heat of 600-700 degrees to heat up, and some that require 400. So always pay attention to the temperature this requires. Let me zoom this out. Always pay attention to the temperature that this requires, your solder. And always pay attention to the temperature that your soldering iron goes up to. So for us in the US, obviously it's going to be Fahrenheit. Those over in Canada and other parts of the world, it'll be Celsius. And there's my quick tip on soldering. Now, before I go, if you have a little piece like this right here, or on this rock, what you can do is take it, put it right back on your roll of solder. No, just melt it, hold it, and then there you go. It's right on the tip. Now the reason I use the rock is because, see, this is a wooden table. Wooden tables you can burn very easily. My table does have some paint marks on it and plastic dip marks on it, but that's okay. It's it's more of a workbench. It's not meant for a presentation. And that is my tips on how to solder and how to get a good solder and keep it from coming undone. Come on, focus. There we go. Alright, camera focused. Now, never do this with a battery wire. If you're making a bind plug, this can be okay because a bind plug looks like this. So if I were to cut this right here and then solder it back together, it would still work as the bind plug. And what you can do with your solder, and if you're going to be putting it on something like, let's say, your motor, we can use my friend plastic dip. Now, you always want to wait till your solder is cooler temperatures, and you can blow on it to get it to the cooler temp. Now, the plastic dip will not always stick that well when your solder is still warm. So, since this is not sticking, I'm not even going to attempt it. But you get the idea of what to do. Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment, rate the video, give it a thumbs up if you like what you saw, or even a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And if you didn't like it, tell me why. And I will see you guys in the next video.